Almost got there. OK, let's get a reaction from the Etihad. We're delighted to say City's equalising goal scorer John Stones is ready to... Good to see you. Well done. What did that feel like at the end, first of all, when you got that 2-2?
Yeah, special one for me. Don't get too many moments where you have a vital contribution into a game, and to score like that against one of our biggest rivals over the past few years is really pleasing for me, and I suppose for the guys that played the majority of the game incredibly well, emotionally tough and physically as well against Arsenal's low block. To come up with a goal like that is pleasing for me.
Your last one at the Etihad was 17 months ago against Arsenal. You only do big games, big goals, it seems.
I'm trying to get in the right areas. No, the manager said to me when I came on to stay close to early and get more crosses in the box. When the boys took that quick corner and it came in there, I tried to stay within the width of the goal and see if any knockdowns. Luckily it did. Didn't get the best contact on it, but I think those are the ones that go in sometimes, definitely did today, and pleased to be on the score sheet.
Yeah, a vital goal. Now, Joe Hart was watching that with us in the studio, John, and before I let him speak to you, I want to play you Joe's reaction when you scored. Have a look at this.
I'm excited now.
Get in. Whoa! It was always going to happen! I told you.
There's our
Go on, Johnny! Johnny Stone! Johnny!
Oh, I love it, Harty.
John boy, congratulations, man. What a moment.
Thank you, mate.
Buzzing, but we were just discussing, I'm an act grown up here, even though I never do around you. We were just discussing about the game plan against the low block. Obviously, Mikel made it very clear that it was going to be a packed defence. They were never going to try and counter you. What was the instruction from the side? You said coming on there, you were potentially going to have to stand next to Haaland, more crosses into the box, but it looked like the boys were never panicked, and you felt like there was always going to be a way, right the way up until that moment, taking the short corner, for example.
Yeah, no, as I said, the manager told me to go on, play in front of Erling, as I suppose if you want to look at it on the pitch as a number 10, try and get more crosses, and as you said, emotionally, I felt we dealt with it really well. A lot of changes in the game, a lot of stoppages, which we know over the past few years Arsenal have brought into the game and make it difficult, stop the flow. And obviously the sending off is a big thing as well, when they go even deeper on the edge of the box. But as you said, emotionally to stick with it and not lose your heads and get frustrated with shooting from outside the box, being more patient around that and making it. They made it difficult for us. Obviously, it's never easy to find the spaces when they've got a back six with a few in front. We had to change it up and try and get more crosses in. And luckily the quick corner from, I think it was Jack, and I'm not sure who else, paid off. And they're the fine margins, I think, in these games, and obviously another decisive moment, if you want to call it, from their first goal with the referee and walks. Not exactly sure what the referee said to him, but I know that he called him over to speak to him, but then didn't allow him to get back into position. It could have been really costly if I'd be stood here talking without a point.
Absolutely, and what it has done, 48 games now unbeaten at the Etihad where you're standing. I mean, it's some fortress you've got there now, John, to get something from the game today.
Yeah, I think, as Joe said there, with the emotions and our mentality, how we control that and how we have, a positive mindset and a belief that we can always get something out of a game. I think we proved that here a few years ago when we scored 3 in 10 minutes to win the league or something like that. It's never over until that final whistle, and I think everyone played their part today and contributed. And if we can keep going like that here at home, I'm sure we'll have a great chance again this season.
Well, you certainly contributed. Joe's just off to work on his singing, so thanks very much indeed for joining us, John. Well done today.
Thank you.
Oh, mate.
Almost got this.
It was some afternoon that, with your team desperately needing it, you must have been delighted to ride to the rescue.
Yeah, no, it was. I obviously
frustrated that you don't get to play in these or start in these big games. And before the game, I tried to channel it and have a positive attitude for if needed and come on. And I think over the years we've learned as a team to stick together no matter who's playing, and to always be ready. I know the manager emphasises that. I'm sure you've heard before. And I came on and tried to be inside the box for more crosses, and one dropped to me, and then put it in the back of the net, thankfully.
It's interesting for you to say that you were in there to sort of get on the end of a cross. I presumed you were brought on to bring a bit of calmness and for that final pass, but it seems not.
No, he wanted me to play closer to Erling, to higher up in the pitch to get more crosses in, hopefully try and win a few aerial duels.
Has he ever said that to you before, get closer to Erling?
Not really. It's so interchangeable though, everyone plays in pockets. So fluid in movements and recognising if someone's not in their position to occupy it. But I tried to go on there, get in the right areas, and it fell for me luckily. And I'm really pleased to score a goal like that.
So what did you make of the afternoon? Like you said, it wasn't a view you wanted, but you had a decent vantage point from the bench. City started the game so quick, then it swung back their way, and then it becomes a different beast altogether, doesn't it, when it's 11 against 10?
Yeah, no, so it's a difficult afternoon, and I think for both teams, how they stop the play, how they use the side of football that not many teams do, make it difficult, slow it down, get the keeper on the floor to get some information on, and we have to control our emotions during those times. And I felt that we did, and it was a good battle today. A lot of tackles, some silly decisions, but it's hard to kind of all digest it all straight after the game. But we come away with a point. Towards the end of the game, it could have been us losing 3 points. So, yeah. We'll review it. We've obviously got a game in 2 days, which is quick and fast. But I think how we fought right until the end is credit to us.
Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're basically saying Arsenal have mastered the dark arts, and it's very frustrating to deal with, right?
I don't know if they've mastered it. They've done it for a few years, and we know to expect that. That's you can call it clever or dirty. Whichever way you want to put it, they break up the game and obviously upsets the rhythm for everyone. They use it to their advantage, and we I thought we dealt with it really well. It's not easy when those things are happening. You're trying to gain momentum. You're trying to get a foot into the game and get above them, and those little stoppages stopped that, and we controlled our emotions, as I said, really well.
And last one, you said, I think in the answer before last, there were silly decisions. Do you mean from them, from you, from the referee?
A whole load of things, really. Probably what everyone expects watching a big game like this, that there's drama, and when we're involved in it, you want to be level-headed, not make silly fouls, take silly yellow cards, and I felt we did that, and we obviously made it difficult for the majority of the game, being so deep and having so many people around the box. And it was a day that we will have to definitely review and take a lot of positives from.
Do you think maybe for the first time we saw today a bit of needle introduced into this rivalry?
I think for the past few years, we've had a rivalry that's been growing, one that we thrive off, and one that we always want to come out on top. So to sit here with a point, it's difficult, especially at home, and we always want to come away with 3. But as I said before, I think how we manage the game and how we've come away with a vital point in the later stages of the game is something that we should be proud of.
Thanks, John. Well done on your goal.
Appreciate it.
Well done, buddy. Thank you.
City, we await Arsenal reaction. We'll bring it to you when we have it. We'll get into the analysis a little bit later. Let's just have a couple of minutes, Roy, on conclusions. What do you take from that game? What do City and Arsenal take from that game?
Well, obviously, City will be delighted with the point. You're going into the the last kick of the game. Obviously, John Stones is talking about Arsenal, I suppose, their tactics, really. Obviously, that frustrated them when they got their noses in front 2-1. A lot of time wasting. And ultimately, it's cost them. You know, I think obviously Arsenal can be smart with that, of course. But I think they probably overdone it today. And ultimately, it backfired at the end. There was obviously 7 or 8 minutes gone on at the end. City's lack of quality surprised me in the second half for all their possession. Obviously, the stats there are amazing. But the lack of movement, lack of runs, lack of quality, really. But they kept going. But I think even with Arsenal with 10 men, I know they give them credit for sitting in and defending, they still needed to do a little bit more in possession. Because ultimately, they were always, OK, came on late the goal, but you always felt it was going to come. Do you know what I mean? You just need to do a bit more. You're talking about Arsenal Football Club trying to win the league titles. They done as well against Brighton a few weeks ago. The last 10 or 15 minutes, they were almost time wasting, settling for a draw. I just wanted to see another side to Arsenal, and I didn't quite see it today. But ultimately, before the game, they would have took a draw. And both teams, I suppose, will be satisfied with that.
How hard is it when down to 10 men in midfield areas? Because I think subconsciously, as a centre-half or a full-back, you just want everyone in solid. So when you get the ball, what are you looking for within...
Do you know what, Mike? Listen, obviously, it's difficult against Man City. It's difficult when you have 11 players, but you don't understand. I just think you just need a couple of more passes or players to win a free kick, get you a little bit up the pitch. Because, again, the stats there, that pressure, and ultimately it wasn't really a lack of quality that cost them. It was just the pressure was building, a quick corner at the end, a short corner. I just think from Arsenal, it just showed a little bit more quality or...
Personality?
Yeah, personality. Maybe composure,
well.
better decision-making in possession. I know it's hard when we're sitting up here and we're having cups of tea and you're obviously eating loads of chocolate and stuff, and it's easy to judge them, but I just think they need to show a little bit more in these games.
When you want to break down 10 men, you have to go on the outside. Yeah, everybody wants to. There was not, as Roy said, there's no overlap. No one done an overlap once. No one, and that's because then all of a sudden, as you get the overlap, defenders rush back, and then you can pull that ball back. You know, it was a bit like with the Jack thing there. Quick free kick, a quick corner, and as he's running, they're all going back towards their goal. They all come back, and he rolls it to Kovacic. Kovacic shoots. There was I was quite shocked with Man City. I thought they were void of ideas. But given
the start of the game, I think both of you really, from the Arsenal perspective, we're talking about a point has been a really good result for Arsenal.
Yeah.
In the manner that it comes, being so close to a landmark victory, is that not gut-wrenching for them?
Oh, no, of course it's going to be gut-wrenching. Of course it is. But they would have taken this at the start of the game, and it's just one of those opportunities where, yes, they failed in that state with the points, but it's the games I said which they can't afford to drop points. Yes, Brighton, of course, but your West Hams, your Fulhams, like last year, they can't afford to do that again because City won't give that opportunity. So, look, it's they've learned a lot from each other today of how working hard in a unit. And the manager would have learnt a lot from his players, the responsibility to it. But yeah, I've got to agree, they've got to be better on the ball. As a ball carrier itself, for instance, you've got to win throw-ins up high. I would have done this in this sort of game, and that's the difficulty.
And it's a reminder as well to everyone, we look at the squad. Obviously, Grealish comes on, has an effect towards obviously doing a goal. The Stones, players off the bench, you saw it with Villa yesterday, these top teams, the influence of the subs coming on is going to be huge come the end of the season.
So, what would have been an unbelievable result? What are your feelings at the end?
No, I'm so proud of the team. Obviously, we played the game in an unbelievable, difficult context already from the start, playing against the best team in the world, and then obviously after what happened, we had 2-1 up. Obviously, it's a different story, but I prefer not to make any comments about that.
How hard to take is it that goal coming so late on after, as you've just said, the heroics your defence has shown?
Yeah, it is obviously a big blow because we had it. It was 97 minutes. They extended again, and we end up conceding the goal. But obviously, it's already a miracle. You know, we play 55 minutes or 56 minutes at the Etihad with 10 men against this team. So it's already unbelievable what we've done, but for sure not a game that any spectator wanted to watch.
I know you can only go so far, but you'll have frustrations with the result. Is it more than that, though, your frustrations today?
Yeah, for sure. I prefer not to comment. It's that obvious what happened before that, what happened when they made that decision, that it doesn't deserve my comment. We already ruined the game. I don't want to ruin anything else off the pitch.
Is there bad blood between these teams, or is it just good, healthy competition that you've got between City and Arsenal now?
It's a really healthy competition. Two teams that love winning, that are challenging each other, and you can feel that tension, that emotion, and that passion in the game.
And can you explain to those of us watching on from the side just how hard it is with 10 players against a team like this to block and block and block as you did?
It's an impossible job. It's an accident waiting to happen, because they have that many resources. They don't give the ball away. They lose the ball away inside the penalty box. You have no situations to get out. It's very tricky.
When you take a step back tomorrow and look at this, I know you talked about coming here and showing you've taken another step to get closer. Have you done that today?
100%. We certainly done that, yes.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, Guy. Thank you.
Interesting. He said it's the impossible job.
Yeah, it is.
To keep a clean sheet. And it was a miracle, he said.
You know, the thing is that there's been plenty of times I've been at home watching City and watching people do that with City. Remember, even when the Aguero, you're watching it and you're hoping that City can break them down. So I've watched them do it so many times down the years. They just keep going. And then you get the break like they did with Jack getting the space, taking the corner quickly, and then Kovacic getting the space. But, it's something that it's going to be almost impossible. But, you look, I think Arsenal, 3 away games, starting with the derby, then Atalanta, and then away to City, going down to 10 men, no Erdegaard. You have to, he probably will, when he looks back on that, think, it's been, with 1 day less rest. All these things, you have to put that in the pot. He's got to be happy with that today. He's got to be happy with that.
Do you think that's a small step forward psychologically for Arsenal then, to get something out of that game of 55 minutes with 10 men?
Yeah, I think out of the two, of course, Manchester City will be relieved to grab a point in the end. But I think, on balance of the game, I think, who would have been happy with a point before the game? And that would have been Arsenal. So I think that's when they had 11 men, they were winning 2-1. They were playing well, scored a couple of goals. It was all looking good for them. So yeah, I think mentally that would be a big confidence booster for Arsenal. Let's go back to Kolo Touré at the Etihad, who we spoke to for the game. You saw 2 very different halves of football there, Kolo, and obviously and understandably. What did you make of it all?
I think that Man City dominated the game in the first half, and I think they conceded 2 goals. And what I think they did in the second half was fantastic, because they put that was a good draw from 2 top teams.
And just on that point of defending deep, Kolo, as a defender, give us a sense of the level of concentration with 10 men against the best team in the world that you need to maintain there to keep them out.
I think you need determination, you need communication, and I think you need all the team to work hard. And you can see the Arsenal wingers, they were coming, and because Arsenal had a 5-4, and they were really compact, working, blocking spaces around the box, allow Man City to go on the side. But Man City, when they cross the ball, they have only Haaland, which is tall, who can head the ball. All the rest are not as tall, and then Arsenal were in favour. And that's why I think the midfield, Rice on the middle there, and the other midfield, they worked so hard to stop the shot around the box, and that was perfect from Arsenal. And at the end, I think Man City deserved to score that goal, because overall, on all the game, I think Arsenal, Man City were the better team, I can say.
Kolo, great to see you. Thank you very much today.
Thank you. My pleasure, always.
Kolo Touré at the Etihad. Psychologically, have Arsenal gone forward today? Is that another little notch that, they've virtually kept them out and got a point with 10 men?
You have to take it. I think if you go to City and you get anything, you've got to take it. Coming so close with 10 men, obviously there's going to be a lot of disappointment, but you still got to say psychologically they've got to take that as a win, because I have to agree with Michael at the start of the game. If Arsenal knew they can get a point out of that, they probably would have taken it. It is still Man City, and if we could get 4 points off them again this season, they'll be happy with that. So that today, as it went so close, but absolutely delighted with that point.
Pep Guardiola's press conference, he's been asked about Rodri. He doesn't know the extent of the injury, so there's no news. But the obvious concern is, if that is for a while, the size of the blow to Manchester City. We all know about the record when he doesn't play and what Rodri doesn't do, lose games.
Yeah, he didn't look comfortable, did he? It was innocuous, no blame to Thomas Partey. Just caught him slightly off balance. It actually looked like the opposite knee to the one that he was struggling with buckled. But you've just got to wait to see how these things play out. He's just off the back of an injury. Are his senses heightened? Is he more panicking, or is this something that's actually quite serious? But Man City have got top medical staff. He'll be given all the right attention and all the tests that can go on. But I think this was a real highlight of what the game was like at this point. You know, you've got Akanji's in a scrap there, Partey bumping Rodri. It was electric, and it's a shame that casualties when the game's like that. But as I say, no blame to anyone, and we'll wait and see how this one plays out.
And something else that's got lost